Okay, so Fivetran, just today, be good to understand a little bit. You've recently launched what you call it, I think, an enhanced partner program. And I guess just be good to understand what prompted this. Was it just because you hadn't done it for a while, or were there particular drivers that meant it was time to enhance the program?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of drivers as to why we considered it. We started evaluating about 12 months ago, looking at our existing partner program, which has been in place for almost 4 or 5 years, I believe. Um, and we identified a good few gaps in there, gaps particularly around how we judge our partners and how we perceive them to be as valuable partners. Essentially not giving them credit where credit is due. So we kind of said, okay, where are the gaps? Where can we make this better? Where can we, show our partners that we do value their input and that we appreciate what they're doing? That was the main driver for this revising and creating a new partner program. So the new program, we think, at least it's early yet, we just launched it, but we think it has fixed those challenges. It's a far more structured program. It's got quite clear criteria as to how you can become a Fivetran partner, what the expectations are from you as a partner, and also from us, from Fivetran, the expectations on both sides. So it removes a lot of ambiguity. It makes it easier to engage with Fivetran, easier to become a partner with Fivetran, and easier to succeed with Fivetran. Essentially, that was the main driver for revising this program.
Okay, and in terms of some of the specifics, I think in terms of the sort of additions or the opportunities for your partners, one of them is around higher incentives, and I guess that's probably related to you've got a four partner tiers. So perhaps you can just talk us through that and the ways in which folks are, if you like, being given more reasons to join with you and work with you.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to talk about the new tiers. Before I talk about the tiers, there's also the different types of partners that are relevant that are also relevant for the tiers. So I'll just quickly talk about that first, and then I'll move into how that leads into the tiers as well. So we have partners who could be what we call referral partners, where typically a systems integration partner would come to us to say, "Hey, we're working with a client. We believe it's a great opportunity for Fivetran." And they bring this client to the table for us. That's what we call a referral partner. So they would get certain rewards or benefits for doing that. And then the other type of partners we engage with would be what we call reseller partners. And these are partners that are actively reselling Fivetran, not just bringing a deal to us or bringing a customer to us. The resellers and the referral partners both fit into the different tiers. You could be a reseller in the advanced tier, but you could also be a referral partner in the advanced tier. The options available to you as a partner and the benefits and the compensation you receive vary in the advanced tier, for example, depending on whether you're a referral partner or a reseller partner. So just be conscious that there are two distinct types of partners, but they both fit into the tiers that I'm going to talk about now. So those tiers. The factor whether you're a reseller partner or a referral partner, you can fit into any one of the tiers that are in our new program. We have 4 tiers. We've streamlined the number of tiers into the new program. The tiers start at authorized, working up to advanced, to premier, and to the top level that we call global premier. Let's start with the authorized tier. This is the easiest way to get started with being a Fivetran partner. So anybody who wants to become a Fivetran partner can simply go to our website, fivetran.com/partners, and they can click in there to register to become a partner. It gets submitted to our partner program team for approval, and if approved, they will be authorized as a partner to get started. What you get as an authorized partner is marketing resources via the partner portal. So you get access to a dedicated Fivetran partner portal where you can get access to marketing and sales resources in there. You also get access to training for your teams. And that training is both sales training and also technical accreditation training. That's available in the Partner Academy, which is accessible from the portal as well. You get access to monthly update webinars where we talk about everything that's new at Fivetran. In terms of rebates or value given back, you could, an authorized partner could potentially earn up to 10% of the revenue in a deal that they bring. 10% is split as in 5% rebate for when you refer a deal to us, when you bring a deal to us, but also an additional 5% if you influence the deal. So if you work with us on delivering a deal, you get additional incentives as well there. The next tier up is advanced tier. Essentially, there are higher rebates and reseller discounts available when you're in that tier. There's also additional incentives for your sales teams. You get access to the Partner Academy, and you get access to virtual live training sessions and a lot of other marketing resources via the portal as well. You also get listed on our website in our partner directory listing. And there are criteria around how to move from authorized up to advanced. You have to have a committed number of deals with us. You have to have a committed number of new logos that we win every year. You have to have a set amount of people in your organization trained or accredited and to become, Fivetran accredited. And you have to also engage in quarterly reviews with the partner team as well. The third tier is Premier, and this builds on the advance again. You get a dedicated partner manager if you're in a Premier tier. You get higher again influence rebates. Joint reselling discounts are increased as well. You get monthly account and pipeline reviews with your partner manager, access to the Partner Academy and training. You get a dedicated partner sales engineer to work with you and build out joint solutions, and a whole other bunch of benefits in there. The last tier then is the Global Premier Team. This is by invitation only by Fivetran. It's got all of the same benefits as Premier, but again with higher discounts. One of the caveats for this is that it must be a presence in multiple regions, not just in one location. So in summary, easy to get started with our authorized entry level with no specific requirements on the part of the partner. Moving up to the advanced, additional benefits, but with minimum requirements in there, then Premier and then Global Premier. They essentially are the four new tiers that we work with in there.
Okay, and in terms of other sort of things that you've added to the partner program, I think there's something around deeper go-to-market collaboration. I mean, I think you vaguely touched on it in those tiers, but perhaps you can flesh it out in terms of what you're helping your partners in terms of how they get to market and how you work with them.
Yeah, so the joint go-to-market initiatives don't happen in every tier. It's only as you move up in the tiers you get access to those capabilities. Essentially, by joint go-to-market, there's 3 or 4 different content in what we define as go-to-market. So we can do like in-person events where Fivetran and the partner will host an event, usually in a cool location, like if it's in Amsterdam, in a Heineken brewery, or if it's in Paris in a winery. We usually pick a really cool location where both the partner and Fivetran will invite customers and prospective customers to this event. And we host this event jointly. So Fivetran will sponsor it along with a partner. It usually is in the form of a presentation, a discussion, and a networking event, that kind of thing. So that's one type of go-to-market initiative we can collaborate on, in-person events. The next one is virtual events. So a similar concept, but we could host a webinar, which is a virtual webinar. We do these with our tech partners and also with our SI partners or integration partners. The ideal scenario is where Fivetran and an integration partner and a tech partner combined, all 3 host a live webinar, and essentially we present the joint solution offering with us and our partners. So that's another type of go-to-market activity. The next one is content creation. So we often collaborate on joint blog posts, joint video posts, you know, any kind of technical content or digital content creation that we can work with. Again, when we collaborate with a partner rather than just a Fivetran blog post, we get far more reach to a wider audience if we bring that partner in there. So again, with virtual webinars, it works best when we have a three-way integration, when we have a tech partner, Fivetran, and also an integration partner all at the table. It gives us a much broader remit and a broader reach. So that's just some examples. I suppose the last one would be what we call running hands-on labs. And these could be in-person hands-on labs or virtual hands-on labs. Essentially, it's where we get the audience to do it for real. We provision a Fivetran account and a tech partner account, whether that's Databricks or Snowflake or whoever we're running the lab with. And we walk the audience 90 minutes through actually using Fivetran, connecting to a source, extracting data, sending it to the destination. We incorporate the systems integration part of it, what that partner brings into the meal, that they can do some hands-on activity as well. So it essentially moves on from the virtual webinar to make it more real and make it hands-on with people, getting their hands on the keyboards and actually doing it for real. So that's kind of where we're at with go-to-market initiatives. Broadly speaking, there are others, but I think they're the key areas that we work collaboratively with on our partners.
Okay, and then I think the sort of third significant one that I thought was around expanded technical enablement. So I'm guessing that's involving training and support and stuff. But you know, again, tell us a little bit more about what you've added to the program.
Yeah, so technical enablement. Each partner will have, you know, at the advanced and tiers up, you get access to a partner sales engineer that I mentioned. So technical enablement usually consists of when a partner signs up, we have a kind of a defined training path for all our partners. It's not rigid, but it kind of does give us some structure. Essentially, the first time a partner engages with us, we would do a 1 hour high-level overview of everything Fivetran, talk about the architecture, talk about the solution fit, how we engage with customers, how we work with technical data warehouses, destinations, and so on. That's a live interactive 1 hour technical enablement, which is usually led by the partner manager and the partner sales engineer. So that's the first phase of any training for a partner. Once they've done that, if they do sign up as a partner, they get access, I mentioned already, they get access to what we call Fivetran Academy, which is by invitation only. It's not publicly accessible, but the partner essentially can nominate members of their team, say, hey, we want to sign up for some additional Fivetran training. We then invite them to the accreditation partner portal where they can do self-paced online training. It's self-paced, which, you know, easy to use. They do it in their own time. We expand on that 1 hour overview of Fivetran. The first accreditation course is a deeper dive into it's a Fivetran technical accreditation. It covers the same topics as the overview, but it goes into way more detail. It typically takes about 3 hours to complete. And then we move on to way more intricate enablement around our different architecture deployment options of SaaS deployment, hybrid deployment, off-premise deployment. That takes about 8 hours to achieve. But again, it's self-paced. You know, students can do it in their own time. And then once we've done that, there's other, let's call it product-focused accreditation. Like we have a dedicated module on our hybrid deployment architecture. We also have a dedicated module on our data lakes, our managed data lakes capability, for example. And so they're all available in the Partner Training Academy. Lastly, then, once partners have completed the online accreditation, if they want to avail of additional custom training, particularly in the Premier and Global Premier tiers, they can come to us and say, hey, we have an opportunity, say, for example, with a financial services organization using DB2. That's quite specific. It's quite detailed. We can create customized IBM DB2 focused sessions specifically on request as well. We only do that once partners have already completed the online accreditation. We won't create custom content until they have first completed the online accreditation as well. So that's kind of, again, high-level, broad summary of all of the different technical enablement capabilities that we have. In addition to the technical enablement, when you're a Fivetran partner and you bring a deal to us, you also get access to a dedicated Fivetran account manager to help you work through the commercials on any deal. And you also get access to a pre-sales engineer. So separate to the partner sales engineer for technical enablement, you also get access to Fivetran's pre-sales engineers to help you figure out and understand, you know, what the project or what the scope of the project is with the client as well.
Okay, and I guess all of this is because you obviously produce a portfolio of technical solutions, and there I think the focus is pretty much on helping the partners, obviously, and they in turn are helping their customers in terms of centralizing, automating, and scaling data infrastructure. And I'm presuming, the world has gone AI crazy, and clearly that requires ever more data. So I'm presuming that what you're doing has just become ever more important now that everyone is frantically trying to get all this data and using AI alongside it. So just your thoughts as to what it is you're offering and how, as I say, more relevant it is become in the current climate, should we say?
Yeah, the timing of this question is great. I just spent the previous hour delivering a live webinar specifically on the topic of Gen AI, but more importantly on how enterprise structured data can be incorporated into the Gen AI conversation. So let me give you some context on all of that. Absolutely everybody's talking about Gen AI. It is what's happening in the data industry, and if you're not part of it, then you are way behind the curve. Our Fivetran's perspective on Gen AI is all about getting access to data. So Gen AI, without getting too technical on today's call, Gen AI leverages what are called LLMs, or large language models. Large language models are essentially the basis of Gen AI, and they will interrogate. You can ask a question to this model in English, an English sentence question. The model will go away to the underlying data, draw it for an answer, and it can come back and it will give you an answer. That's essentially what Gen AI does. But it learns from the questions. So over time, the more times people are asking questions of this model, it leverages its own answers in addition to the underlying data set as well. So it's unlike traditional AI, which is only working off the data underneath. Gen AI actually learns from its previous engagements with people. So it learns from its own answers. This is all great. Traditionally with Gen AI, people only think about unstructured data. So if you're familiar with Microsoft SharePoint or PDF documents or any kind of large text documents, this kind of data is optimized for LLMs. They work better with large unstructured data sets. So people would have challenged us before and said, well, why is Fivetran talking about Gen AI? You guys only sync structured data. You sync data from databases. You're not syncing unstructured data. Well, guess what? If you're not including your enterprise structured data in the mix with the LLM models, you're not optimizing the value of the LLM model because it's not learning from your enterprise data. So we're able to prove now, we've done quite a few webinars and hands-on labs where we actually created applications using Gen AI models, using data from Fivetran, where we can prove that the value of the model, the learning of the model is way more significant when you use your enterprise data in the mix as well. Not only that, using the code for the model, whether that's with Databricks or Snowflake or whoever, whichever provider you're using, you can set the context for the model. You can tell the model, I don't want you going outside of my data container for the answer, which models do. You might have heard the term hallucinating. You go and you ask a question to one of these models, it comes back with an answer that's maybe 65, maybe 70% accurate, and the rest is nonsense. Like we're able to prove it with our data sets where we put in fictitious data into the data set. Like we built a Gen AI application around wineries where you could ask, plan an itinerary for me in California to include 3 wineries in one day. This kind of cool applications that we were able to build. We were able to prove that we're limiting the model's answer by putting in fictitious models. So we created a winery called the Tony Gelly Winery or something like that, which doesn't exist. And without limiting the model to our data set, if you ask the question, tell me about the Tony Gelly Winery, the model makes up an answer. It comes back with pure nonsense, like all fictitious stuff that it has guessed, maybe based on information it got somewhere. So then we said, now let's take our enterprise data, which did include the Tony Gelly Winery, even though there wasn't a real one there. And in the application, we told the model, limit your capability or your answer to only our enterprise data set. And it came back with the correct exact answer on the Tony Gelly Winery. So this is the context, taking real enterprise data, which is highly valuable to your organization, and include that in the mix in your Gen AI applications. Last point, because this is relevant, I already mentioned LLMs work best with unstructured data, not structured. So how do we get the enterprise data to work? Well, here's what we do. Using Fivetran, you can extract data from over 700 different applications in your organization, and that could be legacy databases, or it could be SaaS-based applications. You can extract that structured data and land it into a data warehouse. Once it's in there, you can use that data warehouse tools, LLM tools, to vectorize the data. So we convert it from structured data into essentially unstructured data, making it more digestible or more usable or consumable by that LLM model. And this is what a lot of people don't realize, and it's what a lot of our messaging is around now. It's taking that enterprise data, which is structured, and making it into a format that's usable in the LLM. When you do that, your LLM answers get a way more accurate hit rate. You're looking at 90 to 95% accuracy in the answer. We've got examples with wineries I mentioned. We did one, we created a tourist attraction Gen AI application that we launched in London, in Paris, in California. We did one in Dubai. Essentially a Gen AI application to plan a visit to tourist attractions. But then we started getting real and said, okay, let's build one for business. So the latest one we built is a quarterly business review application. So in this one, we're ingesting data from Salesforce and Jira and Zendesk, all customer-focused data, into the data warehouse. And we have an application then where you can pick, say, I want to do a quarterly business review with my customer. So you can pick the customer name, and then you can pick the type of review. Is this an executive review? Is it a technical review? And then based on that, the model we built will go and analyze that data and create a report for you with everything you need to know about the customer. So we're actually building real life enterprise applications using Gen AI. Bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope that was
no, that's absolutely fascinating. Really is fascinating. And I mean, it's perhaps unreasonable, bearing in mind you're clearly very busy with this. In terms of what else is on your plate, just be good to understand, in finishing the sort of roadmap, whether there's anything you can share in specifics or just your general direction of travel as to what else you're looking at, doing over the next year or so, I suppose.
Yeah, so without getting into product-specific enhancements, that's a whole other conversation, and I need to get some additional content for you on that. I think it's probably best if I answer your question in the context of what our focus is in terms of our business. We have a couple of key pillars we're focusing on. Those key pillars then filter back into the product enhancements. Anything that we're building in product will always feed into what our vision is in terms of the business. So the key pillars, I suppose one of them I've mentioned, we've already talked about Gen AI, so I'm not going to elaborate anymore on that. Gen AI is one of our core focuses. So anything that we're enhancing in product will enhance our Gen AI capability. The next focus for us, I'd say, really is around data lakes. From a product perspective, we have a managed data lake service, we call it. Data lakes traditionally were what we call a dumping ground for files, where people just dump files up there and forget about them. And yet you try to build queries, or you try to build data analytics use cases on top of millions of files that have no structure. It's usually an awful lot of waste of time. What we do is we manage the data lake. So we don't just throw the files in there and leave them there. We then, you can pick, for example, the query layer. We build a query layer on top of the files so that the customer doesn't have to do that. That query layer could be, for example, an iceberg format or a delta format. So again, depending on the data lake the customer is using, or depending on their preference, they can pick the file format that they want to use. And the idea is that once we create the query layer, that data is then consumable by any one of those compute engines. So in Databricks or in Snowflake or Google BigQuery, you have the capability to link to external data lake tables. So the big benefit of that, of using data lakes, is one, you can have the data set available to multiple compute engines. More and more companies are looking at a combination of compute engines. They're not limited to just one. So you could use, for example, Databricks and also Snowflake and BigQuery running off the same data lake data set without having to replicate the data set across the tree. So that's more and more of our customers are talking on those lines. We have this data, we want it available in multiple compute engines, so let's look at a data lake and use it there instead. So that's a big product focus for us. As a business, it's a big focus in trying to expand that data lake capability across our customers. And that because of that, the same as Gen AI, product enhancements are all featuring around improved performance, improved capabilities in data lakes and all that as well. The third big one, I guess, is around the, from an enterprise customer perspective, is SAP. Getting access to SAP data is always a key focus for us. We've always had the ability to extract SAP data, but we're continually enhancing our capabilities in terms of the way we do it, and guaranteeing that we don't breach any SAP licensing issues. Customers often ask us, "Oh, SAP said if we're using a third-party ingestion tool, we're breaching the license." But we can reassure them that we do not breach any SAP licenses. The mechanisms we use for extracting SAP data, we guarantee that we don't breach any licenses. We've got lots of different ways. SAP comes in many different flavors. It could be hosted on an SAP proprietary HANA database, or it could be hosted on a DB2 database or an Oracle database. We can extract it from any one of those different flavors of SAP. So we're working very closely with some of the major large corporate brands around the world, specifically on SAP use cases. So that's kind of where, in terms of future for the product, I think it would be those 3 or 4 product areas where you'll see more and more of our enhancements in product would be to validate those use cases, those business use cases.
Okay, I mean, it's been great to chat, and you shared some brilliant insights into what's going on at Fivetran and the world of Gen AI, which is obviously front and center for everyone. So, Tony, really appreciate your time today. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Not at all, Philip. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed the chat.